To my left is Dr. Colin Call. He is a senior fellow at the Center for a New American Security, focusing on Middle East security and defense policy. Is also an associate professor at Georgetown. Mark Lynch, in the middle, he is the director of the Middle East Studies program at George Washington University. He is a non-resident senior fellow at the Center for a New American Security and also writes and edits for foreignpolicy.com. He is also the author of a book that he just released in March called The Arab Uprising. And lastly, Sultan Al-Qassemi. He is a commentator on Arab affairs and came in from Dubai, so he gets the award for traveling the longest distance today, so we appreciate that. He taught Middle Eastern history and entrepreneurship at Dubai's Men's College. He is most well known for the fact that he won a global audience for his tweeting of the events that played out in Egypt and beyond during the uprising.
I was constantly struck by this old saying that's said about revolutions, right? Which is that prospectively they seem impossible, but retrospectively they seem inevitable. And I think that that's nowhere been truer than is the case in today's Middle East and in North Africa.
To me, the definitive image of the entire Arab Spring is in February and March of last year. Al Jazeera would run these split screens, 5-way split screens. And on those split screens, they would show massive demonstrations in multiple Arab countries. And you would see people going out into the streets in Yemen, in Morocco, in Egypt, in Libya. And it's not just that they were demonstrating, it's that they were chanting the exact same slogans, holding up the exact same posters, and clearly feeding off of each other's energy and imitating each other, and then reflecting it back.
The Islamist parties who are slowly coming and sometimes very quickly coming to the forefront of politics have embraced social media to a very, very large degree. For example, the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt has a Facebook page in Arabic and English. They have a Twitter account in Arabic and English, and they're very much active. So they reply to your questions. If you mention them, if you say, oh, I disagree with the Muslim Brotherhood, but you mention them so that they can see that you mention them, they reply, they say, why, let's talk and let's send you some information about what we believe in. And they're very, very impressive, I must say, use of social media.
There's a widespread and powerful sense of populations breaking the fear barrier and a strong sense of self-empowerment in challenging their governments. You know, political science teaches us that grievances alone do not produce revolutions. After all, if pissed off people were enough to overturn governments, we'd see revolution every day in just about every part of the world. What you have to see is what you have to have is a perception that the government is either sufficiently weak that it can't crack down or that it's not willing to crack down. And I think what we saw after Tunisia and Egypt was a sense across the region that what seemed impossible, challenging these regimes and their security and intelligence apparatuses, was now conceivable.
When the Egyptians shut down the internet, I mean, it was the first country ever in history to completely shut down the internet. A lot of the parents were wondering what happened to their kids, so they all went down to the streets and they all joined their kids in the square to make sure that their kids are safe. So you had tens of thousands of additional protesters who came into the street. So there is an interconnectivity between the online world and the real world. I think, as Mark said, we will never be the same in the Arab world, largely thanks to social media.